Hi, my name's Ellen. Welcome to the second installment of the Aston Social Lab. In case you missed the first episode, this is a series of short masterclasses to help you upskill in the world of social media. Last month, we explored the Facebook ads platform, in particular, looking at the structure of a Facebook ads campaign. Today, we're going to take it up a little notch and look at custom audiences. So most newbies to Facebook ads are familiar with detailed targeting. So targeting users by demographics, so age, gender, location, and then their interests. Today, I'm going to show you how to take your campaigns to the next level by creating and targeting custom audiences with your ads. So this is effectively known as remarketing. We'll also be taking a close look at how this works and how to create a remarketing campaign. I promise it's a lot easier than it sounds. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section below, and we'll revisit them at the end of the session. Remember that there's no such thing as a stupid question, so any question is fine. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, so just bear with me for a moment. There you go. You should probably all see that now. So let's jump in. Today, we're going to look at what is a custom audience, what does that actually mean, the types of custom audiences, so a breakdown of the different types, a look at remarketing, so what it actually is, how does it work, and how does it relate to custom audiences, and then lastly, how to actually set up a remarketing campaign using custom audiences. So we'll do a little bit of a step-by-step kind of tutorial at the end on how it's done. So let's look at custom audiences. What is a custom audience? A custom audience is an ad targeting option that lets you find your existing audiences among people who are on Facebook and Instagram. So you can use sources like customer lists, so that's essentially email lists, website traffic, so visitors to your website, or engagement on Facebook and Instagram, so the people who have liked, commented, and shared on your posts. To create custom audiences of people who already know your business. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually create up to 500 custom audiences per ad account, and they can be categorized by a few different things. So website custom audiences, app activity custom audiences, customer list custom audiences, and engagement custom audiences. And I'm going to take you through what all of this means in the coming slides. So let's explore the different types of custom audiences. There's currently 13 different types of custom audiences you can create within Facebook Ads Manager. You can create these in two different ways. So number one being in the ad set level of your campaign while you're creating it, and this sits in the audience section. I'm going to show you an example of this later down the track. And then the second way is in the audiences section of Facebook Ads Manager. So when you go to create your custom audience, this little pop-up appears and it shows you all the different types of custom audiences available. So there's website, app activity, catalog, customer lists, offline activity, and then also video, lead form, instant experience, shopping, your Instagram account, events, your Facebook page, and then on Facebook listings. Now, if you're wondering what all of these mean, I'm going to take you through each of them with some examples. So first one, website custom audience. So this is an audience based on website visitors from your Meta pixel, formerly known as the Facebook pixel. As you know, everything's starting to change from Facebook to Meta. You can tailor your audience based on events that you want to focus on. For example, visitors to a particular page of your website, or people who have purchased a product on your website. So for example, you might have an e-commerce store and are running a sale on a particular product. You can target the people who have recently visited that product page to try and entice them to purchase during the sale. So you might have a pair of shoes and someone's visited that page. You can then run an ad to that person with that photo of the pair of shoes with information about it to try and give them that extra push to buy. Next up is app activity custom audience. So this is an audience of people who have launched your app or game, or have taken a specific action while using it, such as purchasing an item. So an example for that is you might have an e-commerce app. So it's a shop app basically, and a customer's placed items in their wish list. You can target these particular users with a discount code or don't miss out message to encourage them to purchase. So again, they've looked at an item, they've put their item on their wish list in the app, they've jumped into Facebook, and they're in Facebook, they're seeing the items in their wish list as images or video or whatever it may be, with that call to action message. Now we have catalog custom audiences. So this is an audience based on people who have interacted with items from your Facebook catalog. So essentially your Facebook shop. It's a little bit different to a website. This is within your Facebook shop. So an example here, a customer's purchased an item from your Facebook shop. You can then target this person with a refer a friend deal, wherein they receive a discount where one of their friends also purchases from the Facebook shop. That's just another idea. Now we have customer list custom audiences. So this is an audience taken from a list of your customers who have interacted with your business. For privacy reasons, the information in this list is hashed into an anonymized code before it reaches Facebook. So you won't actually know who the exact people are who are sending your ads. You'll just know that they are from that list. So for example, you're hosting an event and you want to inform your existing customer base about it so they can attend. So you chuck that list into Facebook, create your custom audience, set up the event ad and push it specifically to those people so they know about it and hopefully attend. Offline activity custom audience. So this is an audience taken from a list of your own customers whose details you've collected offline. So for example, you've collected them in store or over the phone. It's not from a lead form on your website. So an example of this, you're a shop owner who's just launched an e-commerce store to run alongside your physical store. And I know that's been very common over the last couple of years with COVID. You want to let your existing customers know that they can now shop their favorite goodies online. So you've taken that list, chucked it into Facebook and have advertised specifically to those people. Video custom audience is a big one. So this is an audience of people who have watched one or more of your videos on Facebook and Instagram, or either or. You're able to select which videos they've watched, how much of those videos they've watched, and in what time period they've watched. So you can get very specific with this one. For example, you have a video series on Facebook and want to encourage your viewers to become members of your organization or subscribe to your newsletter to find out more information. So what you do is essentially select the videos in that series. You could select specific ones if they're about a particular topic, and then target the people who have watched either the whole video or a portion of that video. Lead form custom audience. So this is an audience of people who have opened or completed a form in one of your lead gen ads on Facebook and Instagram. So for those of you who don't know, a lead generation ad is essentially an ad that opens up into a contact form and people submit their details, usually name, email, phone number, nothing really more than that. So yeah, you're basically targeting the people who have submitted their details to you. So for example, you have a database of new prospective customers and you want to welcome them with a special offer. So they've subscribed essentially, and now you want to give them an offer to take an action on your website, to buy something, to do whatever it is that your business does. Instant experience custom audience. So this is an audience of people who have opened your instant experience ad on Facebook or Instagram. So very similar to lead gen. An instant experience ad is kind of like a brochure. So people click on the ad and it opens up into like a mobile brochure where there's more photos, more text, more call to action buttons to kind of create more awareness and educate people about what you're selling or promoting. So you can target the people who have looked at that brochure and bring them, I suppose, further down the sales funnel. So for example, you've run an instant experience ad. to create brand awareness about your online store and decide to remarket to those users who have interacted with the instant experience with a promo code to use on the store. And then by people actually using the promo code, you'll be able to tell how successful your campaign is, because you'll know X amount of people have used the promo code from seeing the ad. Shopping custom audience. So this is an audience of people who have interacted with your products in a shopping experience on Facebook or Instagram. They don't necessarily have to have had purchased something to be in this audience. They could have just looked or clicked to the website. So for example, a user has interacted with a product on your Facebook shop and the item's now gone on sale. So you target them with another ad to tell them about it. So they've looked at the product, you then serve them an ad saying, on sale now, maybe put in the discounted price to give them that extra push to buy. Facebook and Instagram custom audiences. So this is an audience of people who have interacted with your Instagram or Facebook profile, posts or ads. So this could be as simple as someone who's liked your page or is engaged with your organic post, so they've liked it, commented on it or shared it, or have done the same thing with one of your ads. So anyone who's basically interacted with your Facebook or Instagram page to some capacity. So for example, you're an organization who's trying to grow their membership base. So you target users who have interacted with a particular Facebook post to invite them to join. And it could also be within a particular time frame as well. So it could have been they interacted with the post within the last 7 days, within the last 90 days, within the last 365 days. You can be specific with that as well. Events custom audience. So this is an audience of people who have interacted with one of your events on Facebook. So for example, you recently hosted an event which was shared on Facebook and you want to sell merchandise from this event. So you target all of the users who clicked attending on the event to invite them to purchase. You could also, if you wanted to, target everyone who expressed interest in the event. So not necessarily attending, they might have clicked interested or might have even clicked decline. Lastly, on Facebook listings custom audience. So this is actually a new custom audience available on Facebook ads. You might not have seen it before. It is quite recent. This is people who have interacted with the on Facebook listings from your catalog. So this means Facebook Marketplace essentially, as opposed to the shop on your Facebook page. So for example, you're selling products on Facebook Marketplace and have low stock available, so you want to get rid of it quickly. You target the people who have recently viewed the listing with a last chance to buy message to entice them to buy. So those are the 13 custom audiences. As you can see, there's a few nifty little things that you can do to retarget people. Now we're actually going to explore what remarketing is and how it ties in with the custom audiences. So what is Facebook remarketing? Traditionally, remarketing, which can also be known as retargeting, you might have heard the phrase retargeting before. It's the tactic of serving targeted ads to people who have already visited or taken action on your website. But now as Facebook has evolved, there become more opportunities to remarket to Facebook users who have interacted with your business in places other than your website. So these are the custom audiences that we've just looked at. So how does it work on Facebook? So there's 2 different ways to capture remarketing audiences on Facebook. The first one being the meta pixel, also known as the Facebook pixel, and then also custom audience data from Facebook or offline data. So basically most of those custom audience types that we looked at just before. So let's look at these in a little bit more detail. So the meta pixel or Facebook pixel. So this is a piece of code generated inside Facebook, which is then installed in the header of your website. It sounds complicated, but it's basically just a copy and paste out of Facebook. You create the pixel code, or Facebook rather creates the pixel code. You click copy, and then you either, if you're familiar with a bit of web dev or have a web developer on site, you just hand it to them and they'll be able to install it for you. This code then tracks when a user visits your website. So they're tagged by the code that you've implemented to track them. And while they're scrolling through their Facebook feed, your ad then pops up to remind them what they're missing, essentially. So that's how the pixel works. Secondly, custom audience data. So every time you take an action on Facebook, it's tracked and stored within Facebook's database. Sounds a bit spooky. Custom audiences allow you to find those particular people and then remarket to them. So here's the fun bit. Let's look at how to set up a remarketing campaign using the custom audiences that we've just looked at. So this is the ad set level within Ads Manager. So think of it as if you're creating a new campaign. So we're at the ad set level, the second level. In the audience section, which is probably just a scroll down from the top of the page, you've got the audiences there. Now, normally below where you would go to basically choose demographics, location, age, gender, just above that, there's custom audiences. You may or may not have seen this before. So to create the custom audience, you essentially hit the create new button that's circled there, and then custom audience. Then it brings up the little pop-up box, which we looked at earlier today, with all the 13 different types of custom audiences. Now, for today's example, I'm going to show you how to create a website custom audience, because it's probably going to be the most common one that you do, and it's definitely the most common one we see with our clients. So let's look at how to create a website custom audience. So this next little pop-up box appears. At the top there, there's just a little warning about iOS 14. For those of you who don't know, Apple's really restricted the data that's shared between Facebook and Apple. So it's become a little bit tricky with remarketing, but there are ways around it. If you would like to know more, please reach out and I'll explain it to you. It is quite technically complicated. Below that, now you can choose the people that meet the criteria that you're looking for. So the source is your Facebook pixel. So we've got the Aston social pixel there as the example. And it's always important to make sure that that little circle is green. If it's red, that means your pixel is inactive. It might be that it hasn't been installed properly, or there's some sort of technical issue. So always make sure that that's green. Now below that, you select the events. So in this example, we're selecting all website visitors. So anyone who's visited the Aston social website, any page. You can also be a little bit more specific. You could target people who have visited specific pages or one page in particular. And basically all you do is put in the back end of the URL. So slash, so it'd be astonsocial.com.au/Aston Social Lab if we wanted to target people who looked at the Aston Social Lab. And then below that is retention. So you choose the number of days from when that person visited the web page or the website. So in this instance, we're targeting all website visitors over the last 30 days. You could basically do as far back as you want. Most cases, it's probably better to pick or to choose people between 30 and 90 days because it's still fresh in their minds. You can also include more people or exclude people, depending on what you're trying to do. And then at the very end, what you do is you give your audience a name. So I've just called it AS Website Visitors 30 Days. It's important that you give it a name that you'll remember, because when you go back to try and find it later down the track, you want to be able to find it easily. So once you create this audience, it's saved. So when we go back here, you can, if you see that custom audiences heading, below that it says search existing audiences. Rather than creating it again, you can go back and find the one that you have already made and reuse it again. And then you hit the nice big blue button that says create audience, and then that's your custom audience. And then you just proceed to continue to create your Facebook ad campaign. So you finish off your ad set level information. If you've got, if you're setting your budget in that level, choosing, whether it's link clicks, landing page views, etc. And then back into the ad level to actually create your ad. So that's how you create a custom audience and a remarketing campaign. Thanks for listening. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A box. Otherwise, feel free to email me. and we'll see you next time.